All right, so we've got Simon with us. Simon has been working with us on the programme for, I think it's been about 3 months, Simon. Is that
Yeah,
right?
about that, yeah.
Sweet. So, Simon, let's have a little bit of insight to the beginning of your journey and where it's led you up until now, mate, if that's all right. Before you came across my stuff, before you started coaching and making progress, what were the reasons that you wanted to make changes in the first place? Like, how were you feeling, and why was it you wanted to change?
I've tried over the years several times, and with varying degrees of success, to get in shape. I've always relied on the same old routine. I've got a little girl now, so a lot of the things that I used to do, like exercise-wise, I don't have time to do. So yeah, I just found myself, I thought, putting in a fair amount of effort to try and keep in shape, but nothing was changing. I was too busy to make any real progress. It just felt like swimming against the tide, really, endlessly. And that's kind of, I just came across some of your stuff on Facebook and thought, give that a go.
Yeah, you'll give it a go. And leading on to that, a lot of people before signing up to stuff, because sometimes it can take a lot for someone to accept, right? I need a bit of help with this and actually reach out. I find that's the hardest part.
Yeah, it is.
What kind of apprehensions, if any, did you have about getting started with professional coaching and stuff like that before you started?
I think probably the main thing for me was the money.
Yep.
Is it going to be worth the investment? And I think because over the years I've done quite a bit of training. I've done strength training. I've done this and that. I thought I was going to end up paying to be told what I already know. Mm-hmm. Or I was just going to carry on to fail, or just continue to fail. I mean, because I think when you're in the mindset of I'm too busy, it's very hard to see things being any other way. You don't see that there's room to fit this in, or you don't see that there's room to make some of these changes until you're shown a different way. I think that's probably the main thing that I found, really.
Yeah, that's a great point. And on that note, when you got started and you started building new habits and getting into the journey with us, how were those apprehensions that you had previously crushed? Like, how did you actually find the process of the coaching program?
I mean, the first thing was the nutrition. I know what a healthy diet, healthy nutrition looks like. I hadn't quite anticipated how much difference like the increased protein levels were gonna make. Because when you're busy and you don't have time, you don't have time to put the effort in. But when you've got more energy, that kind of just happens organically. It's not really a case of fighting to fit it into the time. It's that it just naturally happens because you're not wiped out at the end of the day, or you're not too busy. Like when my daughter goes down for a nap, it's not, oh man, I've got to sit down, I've got to make the most of these 2 hours of bit of peace. You're just naturally more active. And that was almost purely from the nutrition, from the protein specifically, because I've eaten well before. Well, I haven't actually. I think my biggest problem in the past was I've always been very focused on shifting weight according to what the scales say.
Yeah.
And I'm usually fairly okay with suffering a little bit. Like, I don't mind restricting my diet. I don't mind feeling hungry. I don't mind pushing myself a little bit too far. And of course you're going to see the weight drop off, but it's not sustainable. It leaves you feeling awful. You can do it for like a couple of weeks and you go, yeah, I'm making progress, but then it stops. Am I getting off track? What am I saying?
No, we're good. So it was just, how those apprehensions had changed coming onto the program. And you mentioned that, previously thinking you didn't have the time and energy to make changes, but once we made some changes and you felt a hell of a lot better, well, the time actually comes because you have more in you to do more. And I find that's super common for especially a lot of family men who have kids to run after and stuff. Sometimes you just don't see a way of making it work.
And you think that it's going to be all effort. And it is to a degree, but if the right habits are in place, it just kind of happens without too much work. I mean, like,
without it being a grind.
Yeah, it's not a grind. It's not a hardship. It's I mean, organically, it's probably the best term to use. I mean, it's silly things like hydration. I never drank enough. I mean, I'm at home, like home based, but I mean, like, it's still always there, so I can see how much I'm drinking. And actually, I'm a little bit behind, but you know, it's little things like that if you can just keep those on track, you're just naturally more inclined.
Other things fall into place.
Things to fall into place. I mean, that's just on the nutrition. I mean, I haven't even gone into the benefit of having the Facebook group dynamic, which is obviously a big factor for me for keeping me on track and providing some kind of accountability. You know, something to prove. To someone who is trying to prove the same thing as well, which is nice.
Absolutely. So, leading on to the actual benefits that you've received from taking part in the program and improving your habits, what do you feel are the physical benefits that you've achieved being on the program, and how are you feeling now in comparison to where you were at before you started?
Well, I mean, straight off, I mean, I'm just shy of having lost a stone, so that's always good.
Nice.
And that's having lost a stone whilst having gotten a lot stronger. I think I spoke to you during the course about my old perspective of constantly looking at the scales. I've had to work quite hard to get away from that. So I've been looking at, you know, my push-ups have increased, my squats have increased. It's like I've never really focused that much on that before. So yeah, I'm just feeling a lot stronger, and I'm seeing it in the results as well on the test days. Yeah, just generally stronger and more so because I've always been fairly injury prone, and it's quite a big thing for me to get 3 months into a training program and I've not crippled myself, which is amazing, because having always just thrown myself in fairly clueless, it usually ends in some form of injury. But I find my back, which is typically where my injuries are, they're stronger, they're more stable. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the reasons for that is now? Like, why do you think you're stronger and not getting injured as much for following the program?
For me, it was having the workouts set for me. It works for me because I mean, you can look around on social media, on YouTube, for examples of what you should be doing to get in shape, and there are 1,001 things you should be doing. But the way the training was split, in fact, it was just 3 days a week. The fact that you didn't say, there was never a kind of you got to really, really push yourself. You got to kind of hold back a little bit, just keep it consistent. Just brought about, and I didn't skip leg day because when it's being set for you, you don't. And given that so many of my injuries have been lower back, hips and knees, my legs have been in a bit of a state, and I always shied away from it. And having a set program that I followed has meant I've adhered to that, and I've seen massive improvements. And I attribute that to certainly my lower back stability, with the leg work, the glute work, and core work. It's just yeah, that's going to be it.
Yeah, it's super important. The exercise programming, exercise sequencing, in terms of making your overall body strong and bulletproofing from injury as much as possible. So many people don't realise that exercise isn't just about, you know, changing the shape of your body. It's also there also has to be a balance to the exercise program, and to make sure that the body is strengthened and correct balance with all opposing muscle groups and things like that. And if it's not, then we get injured and the joints hurt, and that can really put us out of the game.
Yeah.
But listen, Simon, this has been massively helpful. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no,
I appreciate you. Thank you.